Hey everyone, in Venom 3 we can expect to see a 10-year-old Spider-Man going up against Venom, techno warriors battling symbiotes, and Toxin is the main villain. Recently the fan community has been buzzing about the latest plot leak for Venom 3, leaving everyone wondering what on earth is going on over there. Meanwhile, the head of Sony Pictures officially confirmed that the upcoming movie will be the final one for Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy. This means we should brace ourselves for a massive climax that will not only shake Sony's spiderverse, but also to some extent impact the Avengers world with Tom Holland. We will dive into all the details right now. First off, let's go through the leaked plot. The movie starts right where No Way Home left off. Eddie Brock is trying to figure out why they were teleported to another universe. Venom consults the symbiote hive mind and learns that Spider-Man is destined to kill them in the future. The symbiote convinces Eddie to track down Peter Parker in their universe, but they discover that he's just a 10-year-old kid here. Venom kidnaps the boy with the intent to eliminate him. However, Eddie changes his mind after Venom exposes Peter to regular spiders, causing a severe allergic reaction. Brock takes the boy to a hospital, pretending to be his father, while arguing with Venom about whether it's the right thing to do. The symbiote grows increasingly disappointed with Eddie's actions and starts to distance itself from him. At this moment, a new powerful symbiote named Toxin appears on Earth. It turns out Toxin is a descendant of Carnage from Venom 2, now bonded with Detective Patrick Mulligan. Unlike the comics, Toxin here is a deranged hero who aims to destroy all current and future monsters threatening the planet. This list includes both Venom and young Peter Parker. As a result of his heroic approach, Toxin ends up creating even more symbiotes, one of which merges with Lieutenant Patricia Robertson, Eddie's new love interest. This leads to a massive outbreak in San Francisco, making the city look like New York from Web of Shadows and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. The movie also introduces Taylor Orwell, who leads a squad of armed vigilantes. Orwell is on a mission to kill all symbiotes because his older son was killed by Carnage during a prison escape. Throughout the movie, Venom has to fight various symbiotes and Orwell's group of armed vigilantes, while trying to protect Peter Parker from Toxin's madness. All this culminates in an epic battle for San Francisco. In the climax of Venom 3, as tensions escalate between Eddie and Venom over their conflicting moral compasses, the arrival of Toxin proves to be the ultimate catalyst. With Toxin's rampage threatening innocent lives, Eddie realizes the true extent of his symbiote's destructive potential. Despite their differences, Eddie and Venom reluctantly join forces once again, this time with a newfound sense of responsibility. The source of this information is the YouTube channel 3C Films, which has previously shared some reliable details. One thing that stands out the most is how much the Peter Parker storyline resembles an unrealized idea for Madame Web. Before the movie premiered, a detailed plot description was leaked, which included a storyline where the main antagonist tried to prevent Peter Parker's birth, because he would eventually be the cause of their death. Supposedly, besides the Spider-Woman, Cassandra was also supposed to protect a pregnant Mary Parker. This detail is supported by leaked concept art showing Tom Holland's Spider-Man fighting Ezekiel, and statements from the cast that the film originally had a completely different story. And here we are, diving back into the plot of Venom 3. If this information turns out to be true, it's clear that the plot element involving the attempt to kill Peter Parker was deliberately removed from Madame Web to be used in Eddie Brock's storyline. This move seems justified for a few reasons. Firstly, as funny as it sounds, outside of Spider-Man projects, only the two Venom movies have had a decent box office returns. Even if you combine the earnings of Morbius and Venom Web, it still wouldn't match the success of Venom Let There Be Carnage. This clearly shows that the studio understands Peter Parker's value and will only fully utilize the character in projects with guaranteed success. Another important point is the strange post-credit scenes in Venom Let There Be Carnage and No Way Home. Fans were definitely confused when characters were suddenly transported from one universe to another and back again. The third Venom movie will provide a logical explanation for how and why this happened. Additionally, the dynamic between Eddie and a young Peter Parker might hint at the fact that Tom Hardy initially agreed to do these films because his son was a huge Marvel fan. With this approach, we might even see a relative of Hardy's play a future superhero, similar to how the Hemsworth family appeared in Thor: Love and Thunder. Sure, it's still not the Hardy-Holland showdown that fans have been craving since the post-credit scene of the sequel. However, this concept fits well into the initially skewed universe, where Eddie Brock becomes Venom without the Spider-Man storyline. This also gives Sony Pictures a solid foundation to create an entirely new version of Spider-Man. In case their collaboration with Marvel hits another snag, the studio will have the groundwork ready to quickly roll out another Spider-Man film. Plus, let's not forget forget about the tiny drop of symbiote, which according to recent rumors will play a key role in the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So, if Venom 3 wraps up Eddie Brock's storyline, it makes sense to expect the studio to tease the next chapter of the symbiote saga in this movie. This will likely happen in a post-credit scene. We might then return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where we will get a glimpse of the symbiote's future. This means we could very well see a new version of Venom in the coming years. Well, let's talk about Toxin. It's no surprise that the character will debut in Venom 3, as the previous movie heavily hinted at this, with the scene featuring Patrick Mulligan's glowing eyes. However, comic book fans might find this portrayal unexpected, since in the comics, Toxin is even more of an anti-hero than Venom. From the leaked plot, it seems like we are getting another symbiote antagonist, with a superiority complex. On one hand, it would be weird to turn Toxin into another hero, considering Eddie Brock's relationship with Carefree symbiote is almost entirely borrowed from the comic version of Mulligan. On the other hand, we might have to watch another CGI battle between two aliens, which could feel repetitive. We can only hope that the motivations, character development, and especially the action will be different from what we saw with Carnage and Riot. Otherwise, this could be a major drawback of the film. And if we go back to the plot leak, it mentions that a special unit will be formed to handle alien threats, led by Orwell Taylor. Interestingly, in the comics, Taylor takes this path after his son is killed by Venom, whereas the leak indicates it happens because of an incident with Carnage. So at least here, the creators are maintaining some balance that fits smoothly into the movie lore. Yes, it's likely that Orwell and his special unit will be just as ineffective as the cops in the sequel, but the fact that in the comics they use exoskeletons based on Iron Man's technology gives us hope for some unique adversaries for Venom. So what can we conclude from all this? Well, regardless of the final quality of the film, we should not expect anything we haven't seen in the previous two movies. As always, these films are positioned as light superhero stories, featuring the charismatic Tom Hardy and the impulsive Venom. If you are looking for a deep and dramatic story, you would be better off waiting for the Joker sequel, but the fact that this movie is the finale of the trilogy gives us a tiny hope that the creators will dare to show something truly impressive at the end. And let's not forget, we also have Morbius and Michael Keaton's Vulture. Adrian Toomes is still convinced he was teleported to this world because of Spider-Man actions, so the character will also be interested in finding the local Peter Parker. As for the plot, I wouldn't rule out a possible self-sacrifice from Venom. It's clear that Sony is unlikely to develop two symbiotes at once. That little piece from No Way Home post-credit scene will definitely merge with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, launching a new storyline. This sets up an interesting scenario, where the alien initially tries to kill young Parker, but then sacrifices himself, cementing his legacy as a hero. After all, we have seen trilogies where the third movie is significantly better than its predecessors. Why should Venom be any different? But you are, my dear viewers, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel and write what you think about it in the comments below. We'll see you soon.